Hello everyone, it's Events Body again with another video, and today I'd like to discuss one topic that a lot of people ask me is, can you spot fake ghee? Can you spot a bottle that is fake or that is real and whatnot? Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, there's a couple of things that we got to cover. One is the brands of ghee. Two is the coloring of the ghee and the way it looks. 3 is pain on injection, and 4 obviously the safety and does it really work, okay, if you feel it, if it works or not. Okay, so let's go first. Okay, brands. Okay, when you look at the brands, a lot of people are like, oh, what brand it is like, you know, is it Gen Pharma, is it Underground Labs, is it British Knight or whatnot? Let me tell you something, all of those are Underground Labs. So pretty much what you're expecting is some guy that's, you know, has got his own you know, little kitchen that he's making his ghee from. Maybe they've got a little lab that they're making it from. You know, some pharmacists, they can do it in their own pharmacies and whatnot to make extra money and stuff like that. Okay, so all of those, I'm telling you, they're illegal. Okay, all of those are illegal. So really the brands don't really mean anything. Okay, you can have a bottle of ghee with no brand, no name, and if it's a trusted source and if it's good stuff, you can definitely use it. Okay, brands will not guarantee you the effectiveness of ghee. That's simple. You got to understand that you know, pharmaceutical stuff, you'll be paying arm and a leg for it, so it's very, very expensive, and it's not really worth you buying it all the time. Okay, so the biggest thing is obviously getting the ghee from Underground Labs, which is effective and cheap. I mean, cheaper than pharmaceutical companies. So a lot of people will opt for Underground Labs, and as I said, all of those brands or no brands will work just the same if it's proper stuff. If it's fake, it's fake. Doesn't matter what brand it is. Okay, you can easily rip off a British Knight brand. You can just name it British Knight. Who's going to sue you? They can't just come up and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to take legal action against you because you have ripped my illegal brand. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, so brands, forget it. Okay, look for the quality stuff. It doesn't mean that the brand is quality. Okay, I have seen bottles with no names, no labels work magic. Okay, and I've seen bottles that are, you know, fully labeled and proper done, perfectly organized, and it's fake as anything. It was like pretty much oil. Okay, just like, you know, grapeseed oil. So think about that. Secondly, the coloring. Okay, a lot of people are like, oh, if it's yellow, if it's clear, what type of color is it? Okay, or Tren, for example, Trenanthate or Trenacetate. Oh, if it's really dark color, it's good, and if it's really light, you know, tinge to it, it's not good, not strong. Again, you cannot tell ghee by the coloring. You got to remember that, for example, with testosterone, okay, it depends on the carrier oil that you're using. Okay, so grapeseed oil may be yellowish, other oils may be clear. Again, you can't really tell by the color of the oil if it's good stuff or bad stuff. Okay, if it's fake or real, you can't. Okay, so forget about that. Trend, for example, this is a big one because a lot of people are like, oh, if it's, you know, dark yellow, it's real. If it's light tinge, it's not real. It's, again, it's a myth. Do not rely on that. Rely on its function, and rely on how you feel, and rely on the results that you're gonna get. Okay, so you gotta, you know, jump in and you gotta try it. And I will obviously at the end of the video, I'm gonna actually explain how to try ghee that you've never taken before. Okay, to prevent any further damage to you if it's dirty or, you know, unsanitary. But we'll talk about that later. So again, coloring, nothing to do with quality of ghee. Also, the brands, as I said, nothing to do with quality of ghee. Some people argued, oh, you know, if it's painful injection, if I feel sore, it's good stuff. Again, painful or pain-free injections will not be able to tell you jack about the quality of ghee. If you have a lot of alcohol content in the ghee, in the batch, you will feel more sore than someone that doesn't have a lot of alcohol in their batch. So again, you can't really tell anything about the quality of ghee with the painful injections. You might have, you know, hit the bad spot. There's more alcohol content in it, and whatnot. Okay, there's plenty of ways why you're going to be, you know, having pain on injection or no pain on injection. I'd rather have no pain. I'd rather have painless injections than someone that, you know, you can't really walk for days because, you know what, wow, I have just, you know, corked myself and now I have to have Panadols and whatnot just to relieve the pain. So again, 3 painful injections or no painful injections can't tell you anything about the quality of ghee. So the quality of the ghee will really be able to tell you on the function, on how actually what results you're getting. Okay, but before you actually even blame the ghee on your results, you got to think, am I eating right, am I resting right, am I training right? Now if you've done everything the same as you've done before, okay, and you've taken ghee and you've taken, let's say, 2 meals of test, you should grow. Okay, you should at least put on 5 to 6 kilos in your first cycle. And again, genetically, I cannot actually specify exact amount of muscle that you can put, but you will be putting on some muscle. Okay, if it's real stuff, you are bound to put on some muscle. If you are not putting on muscle, if you are growing maybe a kilo maximum, okay, there might be a placebo effect. If you grew a kilo or 2, or maybe 2 kilos of muscle in 15 weeks, that ghee may be underdosed or maybe not real at all. Okay, so you're looking at a decent size. You're looking at, let's say, 4 or 5 kilos, even more. Some guys will grow 8 kilos in the first cycle. Yes, after your cycle, as I said, eventually you lose everything, but I'm talking about on cycle. So the quality is depending on the results that you're getting. Simple as that. But take caution. Don't jump in if this is the first time that you're actually taking this ghee. If it's the first time that you're taking it, don't straight away jab 2 mils, you know, into your arm, or 1 mil into your shoulder, whatever. Okay, think about it. First, assess the bottle. That's number one thing. You assess the bottle. You see the oil is clean. Okay, there's no particles in there. The bottle is not opened. It's not cracked. The oil doesn't look sus. I mean, I'm talking about, like, you know, if it's really muddy, or, you know, you see these particles in there and you're like, whoa, what the hell is this? Obviously you're not going to be using that. Okay, but 100% of the time, and 90 or 99% of the time, the oil is going to be clean. Okay, either it's going to be underdosed, or it's going to have just oil, or it's going to be proper dosing of your anabolic steroid. So most likely there's not going to be any visible problems with the ghee as you can see it on the bottle. But it could be unsanitary, it could be something dirty. Okay, when they were making it, maybe they didn't use the proper equipment, they didn't sterilize the equipment, so you got to really be careful what you're doing. Okay, this is underground labs. There's no you know, guarantees for underground labs. You can't just go, oh, you know, I have, you know, caused me, you know, severe inflammation, I had to go onto antibiotics and whatnot, you owe me money back. That's not going to happen. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to take precaution. One thing you got to really do is make sure that when you're injecting, don't inject it into visible sites for the first time. Okay, so number one, I would suggest inject into your glute. Okay, and inject maybe 1/2 mil, maybe even less, but 1/2 mil will be alright, into your glute, and wait to see if there's any adverse reactions. Adverse reactions, I'm talking about severe rash, severe redness, swelling, severe swelling, or, you know, fever and stuff like that. Okay, if those things happen, please see your doctor. They will put you on antibiotics. In worst case scenario, the reason why I'm saying buttocks is because sometimes they'll have to cut that thing out. That's the reality of this, guys. Okay, most of the time, you know, they're all sanitary, they're all clean. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you in this, but that's the reality. Okay, so looking at all those things, you got to really be careful of what you're doing and how you're doing all these things. In regards to the cost, okay, you got to also look at the cost. If you've bought a bottle of testosterone for $30, you know, one bottle, most likely it's going to be fake. if you bought the bottle for $200, most likely you're being ripped off. Okay, you're looking at the bottle street value of the bottles. Looking at, you know, US dollars, for example, between 80 to 100, and Australian dollars about $100 to $150 a bottle. Okay, you got to understand that to make the testosterone, for example, or to make it costs about maybe $30 or $40 maximum. I'm talking about maximum. $30 is most likely that's going to cost everything. I'm talking about bottles, talking about sterilization equipment. I'm talking about the you know, whatever they need to have to make the bottle of testosterone. It's going to cost you about $30, maybe in US dollars, maybe even less. Okay, $20 or something. Okay. But obviously, because it's illegal, okay, they're not going to be selling it for $25 or $35. They're going to have to jack up the price. It's reality, okay? It's the risk that they're taking. It's obviously not something that you can buy in Coles or Woolies or any type of shop out there. So you gotta understand that these guys need to make money. Now, unless you're buying in bulk, you might get away with $50 a bottle, and Tad's talking about $100. I mean, 100 bottles or 50 bottles or whatever, okay? But that's not going to happen. You're not going to encounter those people. Okay, so the reality is the cost is also indicative on maybe of the reality of the stuff, of the quality of the stuff. If it's, let's say, $30 and the guy's just giving it to you, okay, I wouldn't be taking it. Okay, if you know the guy, if it's 100% and he's actually the one that's making it, yeah, go right ahead and give it a go. Again, start off with a low dose in your glute and move on. So that's pretty much it. Now, before I end this video, I forgot to say that I'm not really condoning the use of steroids. I am not here to tell you, to use it or not use it. Okay, I'm here just to minimize your harm. Okay, I know that a lot of you guys will take it. I told you this in the first videos. Okay, if you are natural, try to stay natural. But if you are deciding to go right ahead, okay, this video may be for you. Okay, so make sure you understand the consequences of the steroid use. Make sure that you understand that you can have a lot of adverse side effects, especially if it's unsanitary gear. You gotta understand these guys are all illegal underground labs unless you've got a legit pharmaceutical company source. Okay, so you gotta be careful with all these things. Like I said again, most likely all of them are sanitary, all of them are clean because they want to make business, they want to make money, they want you to come back. Okay, so they're not going to be running around with all that problems behind them. So they want you to keep coming back for their stuff. And a lot of these guys have actually legit anabolic steroids. Some are maybe underdosed. Okay, but you can feel that, and that's the thing. A lot of the pros, not just pros, but a lot of the seasoned anabolic steroid users will be able to tell you exactly what they feel. They'll actually be able to tell you, okay, you know what, I've started this, it's amazing, it's great, I'm growing, I'm feeling the pumps, I'm feeling great. Okay, they'll be able to tell you, because if they were blasting and cruising with anabolic steroids for over, let's say, 5 years, they'll be able to tell you if the gear is good or not. Okay, they'll initially, straight away, they'll be able to tell you of that. But for beginners, for people who've been on a couple of cycles, okay, you won't be able to tell straight away. So you need to make sure you do your homework before you do anything. Okay, but most advice that I'm going to tell you is that try to stay natural as much as you can, because you may be on this for life. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to ask me any questions, please ask. If you want to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.